What's up, comic book fans? It's Invincible Friday, so that means Invincible Episode 6. So let's get to it. Alright, so the last episode was not messing around, and I'm assuming if you're watching this episode, you already watched that episode. So we're going to talk spoilers of Episode 5. So, Battle Beast wrecked Invincible and the Guardians of the Globe. He destroyed them. Seriously, Battle Beast is a beast. No, but yeah, he totally demolished them, like, really, really badly. Like, first it was Invincible and Titan versus Battle Beast, and I think it was the 4 other guys. So, 5-on-2, and they were getting destroyed. But then, the Guardians came, and they just got obliterated. And, like, really, really bad. Like, they were taken out in stretchers. Monster Girl, Invincible, and Black Samson were taken out of stretchers. And this episode begins right after the last episode. So we're right in the hospital. They're being, taken into the hospital. Black Samson, Monster Girl, Invincible, and they're in rough, really bad shape. And it's, maybe they won't survive, maybe they will. I mean, we find out later in this episode if they do or they don't, but it's very, very bad. They're just completely destroyed. So overall, I don't want to talk spoilers right now. I'm going to talk spoilers later, but this episode, this is a little bit of a spoiler, I guess. Invincible doesn't die. He's invincible. He's the main character. We still have 2 more episodes after this, and hopefully a few more seasons. So yeah, he doesn't die. So this episode follows Invincible kind of recovering and trying to get his head back in check after this horrible fight. He always thought he wanted to be a superhero, and it was going to be this great, amazing thing, but he's quickly learned that that's not the case. And now after getting just demolished in this one fight, he is rethinking, the whole superhero thing. So he goes to a college with William and Amber just to check it out and kind of evaluate. It's like, do I want to live a normal life or do I want to be a superhero, essentially? So this is the premise of the episode. Some crazy shenanigan happens with some robots, the Rainamen, attacking, and we find out where they come from and everything this episode. But that's kind of a little bit secondary to everything that's going on with Mark and Nolan, their life. Of course, they're the main drama, and the Rainamen and everything are a little bit of a setup for later. This is important stuff that does happen, but it's not as important in this episode. It's very cool and interesting stuff, but it's not as important at this moment. Overall, this episode was fantastic. I really enjoyed it. So far, all the episodes have been really good and really enjoyable. I get to the end, and I'm just like, come on, where's the next episode? And that doesn't always happen for a lot of shows. So I give this episode a 9 out of 10. It was fantastic, but like I said, after the last episode, it was just like a lot of action, and it was a little slowed down to get us back to pace with a little bit of action. But whoosh, like we're getting ready for this end game. 2 more episodes to go. It's gonna get crazy the next 2 episodes. So I want to talk spoilers real quick. So if you haven't watched this episode, go watch it. Why are you watching this video? The Invincible's a lot better. I shouldn't be saying that, but it is. I love Invincible. It's a fantastic show. Go check it out. It's a great episode. It's a great show if you haven't watched it. So 1, 2, 3 spoilers. So I don't want to talk too much spoilers like I did last episode because it was pretty long. So I'll just make it quick. So the main things in this episode are Nolan and Debbie and Art. So Debbie in the last episode found Nolan's costume where he fought the Guardians. So this episode, she takes it to Art, the tailor, who makes all the superhero costumes, to get it investigated. And they figure out that, Nolan was the one who started the fight with the Guardians, and he killed them. So Debbie, at the end of this episode, she gets drunk and she confronts him. She's like, you fucking bastard, how could you? And Nolan just gets angry, and it's very cool stuff. This isn't something that happened in the comic book. When she finds out is when pretty much the rest of the world finds out, and most of the characters find out that Nolan killed the Guardians. So it's very cool to see this happening a little bit earlier, because it's probably going to make the last episode a lot more emotional. Like, in the comics it hit hard when she found out, but I think it's going to hit a lot harder. Because now she's going to be able to talk to him. Before, she just kind of was watching it on TV when it was happening. So that's what's happening with Nolan and Debbie. Very cool. A few little segments. The meat of the episode, though, is Amber, William, and Mark go into college so they can check it out. William's going there to, hang out with his friend Rick, who he has a big old crush on. And we get a lot of scenes of William. William is hilarious, and I'm glad he was, back. And he wasn't in the last two episodes. The last episode, he was barely in the last few episodes. So it's glad that he got, he's in this episode for the majority of it. He's a very funny character. He's a great character. Like I said, he has a crush on this guy named Rick, who they hung out. I think it was during last summer or last spring break or something. So they're there staying in his dorm room. And Amber and Mark are giving it one more try, because at the end of the last episode, or in the last episode, Mark was supposed to meet Amber at the soup kitchen or whatever it's called, and he never showed up because obviously he got jacked up by Battle Beast. So she's like, I was about to break up with you. I did break up with you, but since you were hurt in the hospital, she thinks he got hit by a bus because that's what Eve told her. And it's like, I feel like I give you one more chance. So they're trying it out one more time. Unluckily, though, while they're checking out the college campus, the Raina Men bust out and start attacking people, or at least one Raina Man does. So the Raina Men are created by Dean Sinclair, who we're introduced to in this episode, who's this super intelligent scientist guy who's turning people into robots because he thinks that's kind of like our next evolution. It's like, oh, we can repair or make ourselves better kind of thing. So one escapes and Mark fights them, and during the fight, Amber's asking for Mark's help, and she looks over and he's gone because, of course, he shows up as invincible. She doesn't know he's invincible. So she breaks up with him after the Raina Man kills himself. She's like, I can't believe you did this. We're done. We're through. Whatever. And the rest of the episode is Mark, wanting to make up with Amber, but Rick, the guy they're staying with, he gets kidnapped by Sinclair, and he's going to turn him into a Raina Man. So William goes looking for him, and then he gets captured. So Mark goes looking for him, and eventually he goes down to the sewers and he fights a bunch of Raina Men, and he's getting his ass kicked again. But luckily, they find out that Rick is one of the Raina Men, and William's able to get through to him, being like, oh, I really care about you. I really love you, We had sex that one summer, and it was the greatest thing that has ever happened to me. So, and Rick clearly cares for him, too. You can kind of see it throughout the episode. So he awakens. He's just like, William, and he pulls out this thing in the back of his head, and then he helps Mark beat the other Raina Men. And then William tackles Sinclair and beats the hell out of him. And then Mark just destroys his jaw, which is something from the comic and is just amazing. And then this part of the episode ends with them taking away Sinclair and everything. And now I can't even remember his name. Pretty much that, they noticed that Invincible was really jacked up by these Raina Men. So maybe they might come in handy in the future. We'll see. And a couple of other things that happen is Eve decides that, she wants to be a superhero her own way. She's inspired by Amber. She's like, I don't have to wait around for alien invasions to help stop the aliens. She's like, I can go around solving, floods, beating the people who need food, stopping forest fires and all that kind of stuff. So she goes out into the world after telling Mark that, she's like, I want to do better, be a better superhero. She says bye to her crabby parents, so she goes out. And she starts, actually doing that stuff, stopping forest fires, helping plants grow where it's, there's a drought and everything. So really just helping people in the best possible way, providing safety and food and shelter for those who need it. So that's what we get of Eve. And it's very cool little parts of her just, this is kind of what I want to do, this is the kind of superhero I want to be, which is very interesting. Usually, superheroes are fighting or they're rich and, people are like, how come they don't use their money to help? It's like, well, why don't they use their powers to create a machine to make food grow, you know what I mean? It's just like, it's a superhero world. They can do anything. So it's cool to see Amber use her powers that way. The last thing is Robot and Monster Girl. Of course, you've noticed that Robot has a big crush on Monster Girl. In this episode, it's shown a lot more, and he helps her recover and get medicine and everything. And then we see him with the Mauler twins cloning. It's a new body. If you haven't figured it out, it's a new body for him because he wants to get out of the shell and go into the freaking human body. So, that was the stuff. It was him, and they get a little bit closer, and it's very interesting. But the most important thing to come out of that is the Mauler twins. Because he's working with the Mauler twins. He's like, I'll pay you after you guys are done cloning his body. and they're like, we don't know if he's actually going to pay us or anything, so we need insurance. And we don't see him until later, until the end of the episodes, in an end credit scene where like we see these two people digging. The boy from the first two episodes in the beginning, the stepson or whatever. Him and his friend are digging up the immortal, and they're like, "Oh, if we drink out of his skull, we'll gain his powers." And then the Mauler twins show up. They're like, "Don't believe everything you read on the internet," and that's where it ends. And the same thing with the comic. They dig up immortal, and then he has, of course, he knows what happens to the Guardians because he was freaking there, and he kind of confronts someone about it. Big spoilers if you haven't read the comic. Obviously, it's building up to this, so you probably figured it out. Overall, it's a great episode. A lot of little things, for the future of the series, like Black Samson, like he's in bad shape, he's about to die, but all of a sudden this wave of energy bursts out of him. It's because he's getting his powers back. Because they keep mentioning it, and they go into deeper detail in the comic, where he used to be one of the original members of the Guardians, but he lost his power, so they kicked him out. But he was using that armor to fight. But since he got so badly beaten up, it somehow reactivates his power. So little things like that, I guess it's not that little. A very cool episode. I really, really enjoyed it. A lot of fun. I can't wait until the next two episodes. That's where it's really going to go crazy. I don't know what's going to happen in the next episode. They've been taking small plots for some of the issues of the comic. So we had, the Flaxen and Mars and now the Rain of Man. So I don't really know what's going to happen in the next episode. Some people are saying maybe he'll go to hell for, Demon Darkblood. I'm not too sure about that. Maybe we're just going to get right into it, and we're going to find out Nolan, and, the next two episodes are going to be just a bunch of craziness. We'll see. But the last episode is definitely going to be, people finding out, what went down with the Guardians. That's exactly how it's to end, like it did in the comic, like in issue 11 or 12, and it's going to be crazy and wild, and it's going to be the best episode. So like I said, really fantastic episode. The show is just great, loving it. What do you guys think? You loving it? You hating it? It's one of my favorite animated series right now, so it's like every time it comes out, I'm just like, yes, 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 new episode. So it's going to be a bummer after the next two episodes. Because I was a fan of the comic book, and when it ended, it was really sad, and there wasn't a lot to talk about. Going back and rereading it is fun or whatever. But you can only talk so much about it before you just start repeating yourself. So watching the show, even though it's similar, it's very different. So it's been a lot of enjoyment, with this new show. So anyway, I've rambled enough, like I always do. Thank you for watching. If you like this episode, subscribe, give us a thumbs up and a like. We make plenty of other videos that you can check out on the site or on our channel. And like I said, if you like the show, let me know in the comments below if you're reading the comic or you want comic recommendations that something are similar to Invincible, or you want to know some of my favorite comic books. I don't know. Just leave me a comment below. Again, thank you for watching, and I will catch you in the next one. Peace out, comic book fans.